Legends, I am giving away 2 copies of Dragonflight. It is only available to NA and Oceanic users, unfortunately, no EU gifters. One winner is going to be picked from the comments section on YouTube, and the other one is going to be given away via Discord. So to give yourself the best chance, make sure you comment on the videos, make sure you come and jump in the Discord. Alright, so looking at the MDT that we're going to be covering off in today's Mechagon run. This is a fairly standard run. I'll talk about it as we go through the commentary, but your run is going to change, or your routing is going to change each week depending on where the HK8 is starting over. This week, or sorry, on this commentary I'm going over, it's starting over Trixie, which means that we're going to go King Gobbermack, Trixie, Gunker, and then the final boss. Some other weeks it might be starting over Gunker, which means that you could go King, Trixie, Gunker. Some weeks, even when it's starting over Trixie, if you wanted to set yourself up with all of the shock bots throughout your group, you would actually go to Gunker first, because you can actually deck your entire squad out in all 3 Junkyard bots if you go to Gunker first. You can't do that if you go to Gobbermack first. But you can see all of the bots are littered throughout the MDT here. So the welding are green, the shock bots are blue, and the grease bots are red. Familiarize yourself where the bots are and just make sure you're picking them up. The shock bots are going to give you the most bang for buck in regards to DPS output. And you just don't want people to die, you want them to hang on to them. So starting off the route that we're going to cover today, we're going to run down here and we're going to do this first opening pull here, which has got an infiltrator in it, and I'll cover off what all the mobs do as we go through the commentary. We're going to finish up this pack here. We're going to move into this second pack here. These 3 are up on a hill. You don't have to pull them. You can if you wanted, though, to get a welding bot early on, but we don't have them in this route. We're then going to do this pull here, this little red pack here. We're then going to pull the 2 bullies, and then we're going to do King Gobbermack. From there, we're going to run back down here and start heading towards Trixie. HK8 is going to change from here, and we're going to pull this pull here. Infiltrator in here, 2 grease spots up the end here, which is the reason we're doing this little pull here. Then we're going to pull these 3 scrap bots. We're going to pull this pack outside the room here using line of sight just to bring it around. We're then going to pull the Pat here, which has got Zolgamax in it. Once that's nearly dead, we're going to chain it into these 3 here. We're then going to do this Infiltrator and the Crawler here with the couple of blasters. We're then going to do Trixie and Nino. And then we're going to fight these 3 and the 2 scrap bots at the door here. And we're going to leg it all the way down to Gunker. Now, if you don't have a shock bot or you need another shock bot, you can actually reach this shock bot up here without aggroing anything here. And the same for this one here. These Pat. So you can actually just wait, be patient, and you can pick up those bots without worrying. But there are a number of shock bots down here you can get as well. So at the front of Gunker's room, we're going to fight these 3 here. We're actually going to turn this. I haven't got them selected on here, but this pull actually ends up, not that one. This pull here actually ends up turning into a 5 here. So I probably got a couple of these little grunters in here that we don't need to have selected. So it's neither here nor there. It's 2%. But what we're going to do is we're going to fight these 3, and we're going to pull these 2 coil bearers down into this pull. Shock bot, welding bot there. There's another welding bot here. Then we're going to move down. There's another shock bot down here. Toxic monstrosities. You need to kill 3 of these monstrosities to activate Gunker. So we come down here. Just pull safely around here. You don't need to do anything big YOLO. Just moving around. Another monstrosity here. And then we're going to get another infiltrator. 3rd monstrosity here. Come back, kill Gunker. And then we're going to run all the way up the path. You can skip this pack here. We didn't mean to pull these prowlers. That's what I've got selected that I'm not supposed to. We come up here. Now, this Pat comes all the way down here. You can just run around the right side and you'll be fine. You won't pull anything. However, if you're a YOLO Chad like me and you run around the left side, you'll pull these 2 prowlers. So just be careful. Move around the right here. Come up. We're going to do this top pack to finish. You can't invis this. The troopers, not the troopers. One of them can see stealth. One of them has stealth detect. Come on. Come on, guy. There it is. Cavalry has stealth detect. So you can't invis pot through there or anything like that. You could death skip if you really wanted to. But we end up pulling it, and I'll cover off the important mobs in that. Another infiltrator for a stack there. And then we're on to the last boss, the Tank Buster MK1 and HK8. So let's go through the video and let's talk it out. I'll pause it just before we get to the first pull, because what I want to talk about are the bots. If you've never been to a junkyard before, bots play a huge factor in this key. Okay, so there's 3 different types of bots in Junkyard. There's shock bots, grease bots, and welding bots. You can only have one of each bot but you can have all 3 of them on you at once. There are 14 bots of each type throughout the dungeon, so it's really easy to kit your whole crew out with bots. So this is the big factor in Junkyard. Now, the shock bots cause all of your attacks and spells to potentially zap the target for extra damage, and it scales off haste. The grease bots will give you 10% extra haste, and the welding bots will give you 10% extra max HP. So, your route's going to change weekly based on where the HK is flying. Ours in this week was above Trixie, so we're going to go to King Gobbermack, then we're going to do Trixie, Gunker, and HK. If you wanted to go to Gunker first, which you could have on this week, you can actually deck your entire group out in all the bots. It does require some backtracking, however on higher keys it is absolutely worth it just to set yourself up with the extra damage and the safety that having your group set out with all 3 bots can do for you. However, this isn't a big key. I'm just going to show you kind of a straightforward path through that. So, opening pull here back into this, we're going to encounter an Infiltrator straight off the bat. If you've never encountered an Infiltrator, let's talk about that. So the Infiltrators have 3 abilities to be aware of, okay? Vampiric Claws, Nightmare Cloud, and Carrion Swarm. The Vampiric Claws is a massive shadow damage strike that heals the Infiltrator for 300% of the damage dealt. So you want to try and reduce that damage dealt by as much as you can. AMS, cooldowns, whatever you've got to try and reduce that healing factor. Nightmare Cloud is a purple sleep cloud that will wander around. Don't walk into the sleep cloud. And Carrion Swarm is a frontal. Anyone that gets hit by this has their healing received reduced by 50% for 10 seconds. So you just need to watch out for that. What else is in this pool? Trash Masters. So they're just going to toss trash bombs around. Just be aware where you're standing, especially if you're on hills and grass. It can be a little bit tricky to see. The Shamans are going to cast Grasping Hex. If this goes out, it will root someone in place. In the next couple of pools, there are bullies. If you have someone that's rooted in place and a bully does a frontal on them, there's every chance they'll get one shot, so make sure you're kicking the Grasping Hex. They'll also do a Stone Skin cast. It can spell steal that if you've got a mage. The Grinder will do an ability called Skull Crack and Enrage. You shouldn't have too many issues with that. And that's about it here. So getting through the Infiltrator here, you can see that Sleep Cloud that just got dropped. It's despawned now, but there was one up the back. Then we're moving into this next pool here, and you can break these pools up. You can go bigger if you like, whatever you want to do. You can see the shockwave coming out of the bully there. They'll enrage. You can soothe it if it goes through, or you can interrupt it, and they'll do that giant smash frontal. So you just want to make sure that you are dodging that and no one in your group is getting hit. They will also do a headbutt that you can see there. The headbutt will knock you backwards, so just be aware of that too. But big thing is to just pay attention to where those shockwaves are going, as they're going to be the big problem for your group. So these other little grunters as well, they'll just fixate and run around on people. Group stuns, things like that, you can't really do much about it as they're fixated and they don't have a lot of health, so they should waste down fairly quickly. But just be aware that you can't really do much else with them as the tank. Coming up to this next bully, it's disguised as an Infiltrator, so we're going to pull that. Vampiric Claws going out here, so again, remember trying to reduce whatever you can with that. I should have probably AMS there, but I didn't. And the same rules apply here. In this cave, as we've talked about on MDT, where I've shown you where all the bot locations are and things like that, coming in here to grab myself a shock bot, there are still bots sort of all throughout this way. This isn't as quick as going to Gunker to gear your group up with bots, but it's still fine. By the time you get to the bosses that sort of really matter, you're kind of still decked out. And you can see the trash seers throwing the trash. Just beware in this foliage area. As I said, it can be really hard to see. Got a new mob here with the scrap bot. So the scrap bot will do a whirly whirl. Just don't stand next to it. Big thing for the scrap bot as well is when the scrap bot is going to die, it casts self-destruct. So just be aware there's a lot going on here. The grunters are running around, they're fixating on people. The scrap bot does exhaust too, which is like a smoke bomb cloud. But when the scrap bot is going to die, it will self-destruct. Big swirly on the ground, just don't stand in it. 2 bullies out the front of King Gobbermack here. So you've got 2 shockwaves to deal with here, 2 headbutts, 2 enrages. You can pull them with the boss if you are comfortable to do it. It does involve your group though really paying attention to the shockwaves. So just be aware of that. I'm trying to mark myself here as well, just so people know where I am for this boss. But the shockwaves, they will go on any random direction. They're not fixated on the tank. So just be aware of that. So we're just going to skip through here and we're going to get on to King Gobbermack here. So getting onto King Gobbermack, just going to pause this really quickly and draw your attention to these coils around the room. And there's also a spark, like a deactive bot. I think it's over here. It might be over here. Might be right there at the bottom of the screen. King Gobbermack will have this giant charge smash. It goes on the tank. It's a big blue swirly circle. Everyone that gets hit by that gets an electrical current. You can then move to these coils and the bot. It will activate them. Grunters are going to be running in throughout the fight and fixating on people. These electric fields will zap them all for you. So that's the biggest thing on Gobbermack. The little trogs that will keep spawning. That's how you don't get overran with them, is you deal with it with the charge smash. So Gobbermack's going to periodically cast Rumble, as you can see here. Causes a lot of swirlies to stand on the ground. Don't stand in them. You get stunned if you get hit. Bunch of little trogs are going to be spawning, and then this charge smash is going to go on the tank. So you can see it's in 3, 2, 1 here. Charge smash on the tank, big blue swirly circle. Everyone's going to come in, knock back triggers off, run your electric charge to a coil or the bot, and then what's going to happen is it's going to zap all the little trogs. Now I'm pulling in some grunters just for percent here. The coils will not kill any external mobs that you bring into this. It's only the trogs that come out through the Gobbermack fight as such that will get killed with the current. So just be aware of that. One thing to also note, as a tank here, as a DK tank in particular, charge smash, you can AMS the application of it. However, if you do that, you will not get a charge coil to then go and activate one of these to stop the trogs from overrunning you. So just be aware of that. Some classes can really play to that if you want to leave the grunters up for more funnel into the boss and things like that in higher keys. That's certainly an option that you can go with. So we've finished that. I really did not need these 2 grunters either, or the 3 grunters extra that I pulled in there. There's also a bot up here as well if you wanted to get a bot. It's a welding bot up there. So those 3 on the hill, completely by choice if you want to pull them. Then we're going towards Trixie. So you got a scrap bot here. Again, just watching out for the exhaust cloud, watching out for the spin. We're actually going to go all the way down here. There's an infiltrator down here, but there's 2 grease spots at the end here, and they're what we really want. So again, same mobs in here. You got the grinders doing the skull crack. You got the infiltrator. You got the shaman with the grasping hex that you need to watch out for. The scrap bot, nothing changes here. So I'm just going to skip through this really quickly here. And there's going to be 2 grease spots up the end. So I'm going to get one of these grease spots. So there's 1 grease spot there, and there's another grease spot. You can see it there. It's covered in grease, so it doesn't shine like the shock bots. So you can just run up and click it. There's a grunt here. It doesn't matter if you pull that. It's like 0.03% and doesn't have much health. So then we're going to run over here now. There's going to be these 2 scrap bots out the front here, and there's going to be this scrap bot all on their lonesome over here. So we're going to pull these 3 scrap bots together. Not really much to report on the scrap bots. Same kind of stuff. The heavy scrap bots, though, they will cast Repair Protocol. You want to make sure you're kicking them. Just be aware when they put down the exhaust cloud, if they cast Repair Protocol, you have to get inside the exhaust cloud to be able to kick them. You can't interrupt it from the outside. So just be aware of that. So just keep moving them outside if you need to, but otherwise you shouldn't have too many issues. Once they're down, I'm going to pull this inside pack, or once they're nearly down, I'm going to pull this inside pack here. And I'm going to line aside it around this corner just to get them out. There's a big pat that moves inside there, and I want to break these pulls up. I got an infiltrator in this pack as well, so we get another infiltrator here. Mechanic is a new mob in this one. They will cast Repair. You just want to interrupt it, and that's pretty much it. The scrappers, they have a Fervent Strike as well, so try and make sure that you stay within range of the scrappers, and the mechanics will also cast Overclock. You just want to make sure that you're interrupting that and don't let it go off, otherwise it like supercharges all the other robots in the area, and we're in a robot dungeon. Next, I'm going to pull this large padding pack that goes around this Trixie area here, and that's going to give us Zolgamax. Now, if you haven't done Zolgamax, Zagama. So Zolgamax has a couple of abilities worth mentioning. Get back on track. Worth 3 stacks, so you get 6% for killing Zagama. Shadow Claws are empowered on Zagama as well, so you take shadow damage every 1 second for 12 seconds. Same rules apply with the Vampiric Claws on the Shadow Claws here as well, but just be aware you can dispel that debuff. Blood Barrier, Zolgamax is going to shield herself in a giant blood shield, and she'll heal while it's up. You need to DPS through the shield and then interrupt. Shadow Eruption is the other thing, big purple circle that goes around Zalgamux. You just need to make sure you don't get hit by it. Move out. If you get hit, your healing is reduced by 70% for 10 seconds. So just move out. Last thing, Zalgamux will summon a bat, cast Hypnosis, just make sure you stun it. And that is about it. Last mobs to mention in these pools are the blasters. They'll cast Run and Gun, which will see them leap away in a straight line or disengage in a straight line. You can't do anything about it, but just be aware that you're not fighting them in any place where they can run off and pull things that you don't want. That is the big one. The Scrap Hounds as well, I didn't mention them, sorry, they do a balk. It silences you if it hits you and reduces your haste, so just watch the balk on them, can be really hard to see. Pulling this Infiltrator here with the Crawler. This Crawler can be scarier on higher keys. It'll do a frontal, which is a scrap cannon. Just move out of that frontal. It'll also do a shock coil. It didn't live long enough here because the key's not high enough, but in higher keys, that shock coil on Fortified can really hurt. So just be aware of that. You may need to sink a group CD into that. And then we're on to the second boss, Trixie and Nano here. Now you can do two things, okay? Now we haven't done it in this key. Over here, around the back, like if you literally pull them, and your whole group, so your whole group goes over here, you pull the bosses and you go all the way into this area where my mouse is hovering up here. It's like a little kind of cubby zone. You can fight them in there, and what that does is it keeps them stacked up together. You will still need to run out though for the Mega Tase, and I'll talk about this through the fight, but if you are going to pull them up the back here, it is absolutely the play. You just have to make sure people dodge, watch the Bolt Busters, but if you get Mega Tase, you still have to leg it out and get in the cloud, so just be aware of that if you want to fight them up the back here. Otherwise, fight them out here in the open. It's just a little bit more annoying because Mega Crash old mate here won't be in cleave range the whole time. So Trixie is going to cast Tase. You just want to have a rotation set up to kick these. Basically, nice and easy. When Nano's off his bike, his main ability you need to watch out for is Bolt Buster. It's a frontal. You just need to watch where it's going and not be there, and make sure your DPS aren't there as well. Nano will alternate between phases where he's on the motorcycle and he's pummeling the tank with Bolt Buster and regular melee attacks. He's untankable on the motorcycle though, so you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you're moving. Here's that Mega Tase that's coming out at the moment. There'll be a gas cloud. The Warlock's going off and jumping in that now. You just have to make sure that you're in that smoke cloud, when Mega Tase is going. Otherwise, kick and tasers, you want to kill them at the same time or around the same time as well. You're really not going to have too many problems on this boss. The things that are going to kill you are the roadkill when Nano decides to fly out on his bike. If someone gets hit by that, they'll get one shot, and the Bolt Buster. So yeah, just really watch out for those. Then we're going to pull the two scrappers here, the blaster and these two scrap bots at the door, because now we're off to Gunker. So we've covered all these mobs, so this is the exact same stuff here. So I'm just going to skip through that rather than wasting time talking about what we've already spoken about. So we're going to kill those. They're all dead. And now we're going to mount up and we're going to go towards Gunker. Now, if you did need a shock bot here, you can run all the way, and I sort of spoke about this on MDT, but you can run all the way up here. This mob here will be over there. You can skip it. This mob up the top here, there's a shock bot just past it. It walks side to side. If you wait till it's over this side, you can just walk around it, grab the shock bot, and then come straight back down to where we're going. It's up there for blue, but it's all the way up the top there if you need to get that. So just watch out for this padding spider crabby thing here, and then we're going to run off down here. So I think I was trying to tell Luna to go get that shock bot, but you wouldn't listen to me. Shame. So then we're going to go pull this Infiltrator, Renormalizer, and Trooper here. So the Renormalizer will cast Shrink. You want to ensure that these are being kicked. If one goes through, don't step on your mate. They will also cast Enlarge. If you have a mage, they can spell steal that, but otherwise kick it. We're going to grab these Coil Bearers up here as well. They will cast Charged Coil. You want to make sure you're kicking that. There's a pat that comes along with these as well, but you don't want to pull the pat. We just want these two. You got a welding bot down the bottom. You got another shock bot up here, which Luna's going to grab right now. So if you didn't want to grab the top one, you can always grab this one as soon as you start the pull. And then we're going to jump down into Gunker's area here. We're going to start pulling these slimes. Now, these small slimes will do an acid splash. They'll also create little droplets. They're only a little mob, but they can get out of control and a lot of damage can actually splash out of them. So just be aware of that. Toxic monstrosity here. There are 3 monstrosities that you have to kill in this area to engage Gunker. So you need to kill them. Just watch out. They do have a consuming slime, which will pull you back into them and deal direct damage. And it'll also put a dot on you. It will pretty much kill any DPS and healers. So make sure you move out. DKs, you can AMS it. Pro Warriors, you can spell reflect it as well. But otherwise, just get out and run away. There's some toxic lurkers around here as well, and some elementals. The elementals will do a charge and cast a slime bolt. Just make sure you kick in the slime bolts and watch out for the charge. You can grip the charges off. You can also stun them. But big thing is just watch out where they're going, because if they run over someone on a high enough key, they'll actually kill someone with the charge. And the big thing here, or the slime wave, sorry, it's called the charge. The big thing is you don't want to have people dying and losing bots. This key is made so easy by your group managing to play safe and just hold on to their bots. Now, the lurkers here, they'll cast Suffocating Smog. You just want to make sure that you interrupt this. Don't pull too many things with the lurkers as well, because again, they can get a little bit out of hand with the Suffocating Smog. So yeah, just sort of chisel your way through here. That's all the mobs that you're going to encounter through here. Again, there are grease bots, shock bots, and welding bots throughout this area as well if you need to make them up. But just don't underestimate the little slimes here is probably the biggest thing I can tell you. You can get really overwhelmed with them. Watch out for those slime waves, and you just want to pick up the most efficient route, basically, to picking up the 3 monstrosities and just getting through here. So here's the second monstrosity, so we're going to kill that. And then the third one is just up the end here. So we'll finish this monstrosity. We got one more slime there. We got another infiltrator over here. And again, there's another shock bot if you needed one. So again, infiltrator, the exact same stuff applies. Sorry if this is a bit hard to follow skipping through, but I'm literally just running up in a straight line here. There's a grease bot over here. So I'm going to grab this one slime. I'm going to come back and grab this one monstrosity. Now, you do not need to get any of these smaller slimes that are around here. I think one accidentally got body pulled. And you can see this one here. You can actually pull this monstrosity without needing to pull this slime. If you stand here, taunt, hit this monstrosity, it will run in a straight line and it will not pull this slime. So just know that you can do that. I'm not sure if it gets body pulled in this one, or it does get body pulled in this one, unfortunately, but you don't have to do that. So again, yeah, just watch out for the little slimes. Don't pull any lurkers if you don't need to. Don't pull any little slimes as well if you don't need to. Unfortunate Queenie here with the monstrosity doing consume, standing in one place and just sucking in all that Queenie, or standing in the Queenie, was really unfortunate. But that is it. So they're the 3 monstrosities. We can start working our way back towards Gunker. Then the bots will unleash Gunker. Now, Gunker's not overly a super complex boss, and it's not really hard outside Quaking Weeks. Quaking Weeks can make Gunker very, very annoying because of bad overlaps, can cause you to have a really bad time. But as the tank, you just want to make sure that you always remain within melee range. Otherwise, Gunker will slap the closest next player, which will result in dead. Also, be sure to not go inside Gunker's hitbox. If you go right deep into Gunker's hitbox, you'll actually get slimed. 3 squirt bots rotate around the boss, 1 in melee, 2 in range. You always want to be near one, or you can just stand inside one and just strafe around the boss. That is basically this whole fight, is staying inside or right near a squirt bot. Now, Gunker is going to cast Splatter, which will see slime fly out. It can land on a bot and cause them to be slimed. If that happens, you need to break them out ASAP. 2 abilities rotate around this fight: Coalesce and Toxic Wave. So Coalesce will pull all the players in, and the slime swirls just walk against the pull and stay in your slime bot. And Toxic Wave is going to see Gunker discharge a bunch of slime goop out from him, from the middle straight out. And again, you just need to be in the bot to make sure that you avoid all this. You can see the slime dropping out here. Try not to land in the slime, but if you just stay in your bot and pretty much rotate around, you're going to be fine. Paladins can use Blessing of Spell Warding to ungoop somebody or prevent them from being gooped. You can also cleanse the goop off players and bots as a monk, I believe, as well. Pretty sure I got that right. Then we're heading off to the last boss. Now, good things to note here. We wanted to skip this pack, right? You can do it if you run on the right side here. You will be safe. Demon Hunters can also see the stealths. I went on the left side because I'm a Chad that knows no bounds. but I pull the stealth prowlers, which I did not want to do. So right side, safe side. Okay, so I got, what did I get? One prowler there, two prowlers. I got two prowlers. And we're going to take it into this top pack. We don't want the 3 paddy mobs. The most dangerous mob in this pack is the cavalry one. It will leap and it will do that rapid fire, which sees it spinning around like a pew pew gun. On high keys, that can really screw you up. The charge is marked with a leap. Just make sure you're not standing in it. You'll have to kick the shrink on the renormalizers here as well. And the coil bearer will also have the interrupt that you need to get as well. I can't remember what the coil bearer's kick is, but there's a cast on the coil bearer. Just make sure you kick it. It'd be shock something, shock horror. And then we're on to the last boss, MK1 and the HK8. So you start off by fighting the MK1 tank buster here. So Cannon Blast is going to come across from the HK8, and it is this giant blue line in the middle. This is going to continue out throughout the fight. Just move out of the blue swirls. Super duper simple. As the tank, biggest thing you want to concern yourself with is Wreck. Wreck is a combo that you will get hit by from the MK1 tank buster here, and you can see it's winding up here, and then it is a 3-second channeled like pummeling hit combo. Honestly, on Fortified, I don't know if this actually scales with Tyran or 4, but it's not doing any damage here whatsoever. It's not a really high key, but it used to absolutely wallop you in BFA. So just make sure that you've got mitigation and a CD going for it, should you need. Now, what else happens in this fight is these 3 little bots drop. It's probably not the best sort of vision to show you there. 3 little bots here. Okay, they're in circles and they will fixate and they will walk towards players. You can mass root them, you can slow them, you can single stun them, you can mass grip them together. So if this one was in range over here and it was going to get someone, I could select this one and I could mass grip the 2 onto that one, and then you could drop a D&D to slow them while everyone moves away. But just basically try and take the MK1 away from these bots and watch the charge, watch the cannon blast that's coming down from the middle. Once the MK1 is defeated, there's 2 shock coils on each side. There's one over here and there's one over here. One of them is going to be lit up with electricity. That is the one that you need to run to. So find which one is lit up with electricity, start moving up to that. We're going to have to get through this little maze up here. Now, it's worth noting, you can jump the little propellers here, but you can't jump the static ground zone. Moving up, just dodge these little bots here. Then we're going to get into the middle and we're going to click on this middle coil here to hack. When the middle bit here, the easiest way to move around this, see this one here is moving, it moves clockwise around here. We used to, back in the day before you figured it out, shuffle all the way along here clicking. Just wait for the middle zone to deactivate and then just run in and around it, and then you can stand there and channel. You'll get a lot more out of it that way. So we're going to channel that down until it zaps the HK8 in the air, and then it goes haywire, and we have 30 seconds now to decimate the boss. Now, on lower key range, I'd probably say, I don't know, 22, 23. I don't know where it would stop, but you can easily one phase this boss. So save all of your cooldowns, hero, pot, everything here just to go absolutely big D, and you'll one phase this with no problems. So that is it. Any questions at all, hit me up in the comments below. Hopefully this helps you out. Check out the other dungeon guides on the channel. Come join us in the Discord. Thanks very much, legends. I'll see you all next time.